Here's something that might shock you. Millions upon millions of dollars that the federal government has tagged to be able to be used by small businesses on small business set-aside contracts ends up going to large primes and large enterprises. And it's not because there aren't great qualified small businesses out there throughout the United States. Rather, it's because there's a lack of qualified small businesses that have registered to be able to do business with the federal government. And that all stems and goes back to SAM.gov. So if you're thinking about doing business with the federal government, or you've been putting off dealing with SAM.gov registration because it seems overwhelming, this video is going to save you time, money, and a lot of headaches. Let me first start off with what SAM.gov actually is. I want you to think about it as if it was a business directory. It kind of is. It's one you absolutely need to be listed on. SAM stands for System for Award Management, and it's where the government goes to find contractors, verify they're legitimate, and make sure that they can pay them. Now, here's where most businesses are going to go wrong right from the start. They treat SAM registration like filling out a quick online form. In reality, it's more like applying for a business loan. You need documentation, patience, and attention to detail. This process can take on average about 10 business days, but longer depending upon validation issues. And some of the documentation you're automatically going to need, and you should have, right, if you're already incorporated and doing work as a business, is you're going to need to have your employer identification number from the IRS and banking information for electronic funds transfers. Here's the kicker, and this is where a lot of people get tripped up. All of the information on your forms across the board have to match exactly, each one. If your business name is slightly different on your bank account versus your business license, you're going to hit roadblocks. The other mistake that I often see small businesses make is that they rush through their net code selection. These codes are basically how the government categorizes what your business does, and choosing the wrong one can lock you out of opportunities. You need to research them closely, especially because each code has a specific size standard that determines whether you qualify as a small business for that type of work, or if you don't. In terms of this, you might think of if you might be a small business for a construction services contract, but not for IT consulting. Another common pitfall is the representation and certification section. This is where you're going to tell the government all about your business. These certifications can give you significant advantages in winning contracts, but you always have to have the proper documentation to back them up, and you need to read them specifically and make sure you are answering the correct part. Now, here's the number one times where partners of mine come back and say, wait, Josh, what's going on? This is kind of crazy. Let's talk about annual renewal requirements, and this catches everyone off guard. Your SAM registration expires every year, and if you let it lapse, you can't receive payments on existing contracts, let alone bid on new ones. You need to set a calendar reminder for at least 60 days before your expiration date because the renewal process can also take time. Here's a pro tip. If you're frustrated, if you're trying to save weeks, if you just don't get it, contact and reach out to an Apex accelerator for pre-registration help. They can be a great place for you to be able to work through. They can often take some delays, right? Because they're working with a lot of different people, but it's free support. They know what they're doing. And it's a great place to be able to start off the process with. And one more thing, and this is really what catches a lot of people. There are tons and tons and tons of SAM.gov registration scams. There are companies out there charging hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to help you register while pretending to be that they are SAM.gov. These are not legitimate. Registration itself is completely free. The only times you need to consider paying anybody is when you have to consider, do you want to go through all the process, or would you rather do something more productive with your time? This is important. And the only official website, by the way, is SAM.gov. Not SAM.com, not SAM. Whatever, it is SAM.gov. So if you get any email from something that doesn't have a .gov at the end of it, especially a SAM.gov at the end of it, it is an email from somebody trying to pretend to be SAM.gov, making you think that you need to do something and pay them money. Just remember that. Too many people get caught up in that all the time. And this is important because government contracting can transform your small business, but only if you can get in the door. And SAM.gov registration is that door. So take the time to do it right the first time. If this helped clarify the SAM.gov registration process for you, or why you should go through it, hit that like button and subscribe for more practical government contracting advice. And check out our playlist on small business certifications. Those SAM representations and certifications I mentioned earlier could be worth their weight in gold for your business. Stay tuned for the next ones.